Hello, everyone. Welcome to D&D News. How's it going? I'm going to take a sip from my deliciously hot coffee that I just poured from my deliciously hot mug. You get what I'm saying? How are you today? I am Greg Tito. I am here to talk about all the fun things that are going on with Dungeons & Dragons, and I have all the time in the world because there's no dice camera action today. Which it sounds like I'm excited about that, but I'm not. I'm actually not excited because, well, I mean, obviously we like the story of the Waffle Crew and what is going on there, but they are busy preparing for their TwitchCon performance. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Dice Camera Action is off today. There'll be no new one. We will be showing some of the older episodes. I think we're going to start with just the last episode we're going to rerun from last week. So you will at least still get your fix there. But new episode will be dropping this Sunday live from TwitchCon in Long Beach, California. 3 of the 4 Waffle Crew stalwarts will be there. Unfortunately, Nate Nate Wants to Battle, is actually going to be here in Seattle performing with his band. So some of the folks from the Dungeons & Dragons team are trying to whip them into coming to see Nate perform. But Chris Perkins and Anna Prosser Robinson and Holly Conrad and Jared Knabenbauer will be at TwitchCon Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. We'll be broadcasting that live from here, the twitch.tv/DND channel, and of course it'll be added to the collections page as well. So mark your calendars for that. They'll be back on next Tuesday at the regular slot, 4 p.m. Pacific time here on this here channel. So we're excited about that. How are you guys doing today? I'm actually looking at the chat up here right now. I see Obo Craig's in there. What's up, Lauren? Hey, Axis. Good to see you. Do I have a preferred coffee brand or style? I like it dark. I like a dark roast, mostly as a vector for caffeine, as I also add sugar and cream, lots of sugar. I've had many a waitress say to me, "Oh, are you going to have some coffee with your sugar and cream?" And the answer is just, as much as possible. As much of the caffeine as possible. Also the sugar high. It really just stems from me starting to drink coffee at a young age. I was an Italian family. There was coffee everywhere. And I was like, I want to try this coffee thing. Thought it was gross. But then I put a whole bunch of sugar into it. And it was delicious. And I haven't stopped ever since. Gosh, that's almost 30 years of me drinking coffee. As sweet as can be. Candy coffee. It's a good thing I don't like candy that much, but there's been a lot of Halloween candy in the D&D office, thanks to Mr. Perkins. He brought in a whole bunch of bags, and I've been chowing down on the chocolate and not happy about it. Just not happy about it. I curse his name every time. I'm like, this is your death curse, Chris Perkins, is all of this candy that's coming in. Guess what, guys? I am doing lo-fi today on paper. You're not going to believe this, but I usually do an iPad or a tablet or something like that and have all the news updated for me by Pelham Green, as well as I add some stuff to this as well. But I forgot to charge the tablet this time. Tried to boot it up and it was completely dead. So I was like frantically looking for a charger. I had one charger. I was trying to charge both of my things that I use for these segments as well as for Dragon Talk. And Shelly Mazanoble, my lovely co-host, said, "Why don't you print it out and use the paper?" And I thought, that sounds amazing. Who does that? That's crazy talk. Until I was like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So I'm going to be reading you the Dungeons & Dragons news from some actual real-life paper that was printed on by a machine. Amazing, right? Crazy. Klingon Rachinko style coffee. That is something I've never heard of, but it sounds amazing. Am I pronouncing that right? Tahino? Rack Tahino? Anything that's Klingon sounds good to me, so I'm all in with that. But I'm going to start talking to you about what's going on in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. So, Tomb of Annihilation is, of course, out. It is about. People love it. We get tons of folks who say that it is one of their favorite adventures that has been produced for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I just overheard Mike Merles complimenting Chris Perkins on a job well done down in the D&D office. It is doing gangbusters. People just seem to really dig it. It is out everywhere. It's in your local game store. It is in D&D Beyond if you want it digitally. Roll20 digitally. Also Fantasy Grounds. It's out everywhere you could possibly get Dungeons & Dragons stuff, which is super cool. There's also lots of ancillary content. So if you've gone through the Tomb of Annihilation, you've read it all, you want to find out some other things other people have done, go to the Dungeon Masters Guild and look at the Guild Adept program. What they've been doing is been doing kind of like Chris Lindsay described it as first day DLC for the adventure, but in some ways it's just stuff that's ancillary to the adventure, things that inspired more and better things. We've had a lot of the folks in that program here on Dragon Talk, and there's lots of fun stuff out there. So go check it out, especially Lisa Chen's contributions, as well as Satine Phoenix and Rudy Rutenberg's, not to mention James and Tricasso. I'm just writing off the people that I know who are in that program, but there's tons more. Go check it out, and I'm looking forward to learning more about the other people's work, and that was part of the point of the Guild Adept program, was to get more people working together about stuff that's happening with our current storyline. So I hope you're doing that. Maybe it inspires you to create something and put it on the Dungeon Masters Guild too. Speaking of the Dungeon Masters Guild, the Turtle package is available right now on the Dungeon Masters Guild, on D&D Beyond, and in Fantasy Grounds. What is the Turtle package, you say? Well, I'm going to hold you in suspense while I take a sip from this coffee.
Suspenseful.
Suspenseful, wasn't it? Was that suspenseful? Dodger Coffee. I've heard good things about Dodger Coffee, Dawn Seeker, so I will have to check that out as well. When I was in New York, I used Bustelo. Bustelo coffee was my go-to because it was that fine espresso grind and made very, very strong coffee. I loved it. I would make it as strong as I could. Plus, in New York City, it was super cheap. You could get a brick, like a pound brick, vacuum thing bricked for like $2. So you can still get Cafe Bustelo out here, but it comes in the cans, and it's like $6 for a can, which is just a little too rich for my blood. Or maybe it's even $8. It's gotten up more. Suspenseful. Yes, thank you, Sean Mayofsky. So what was I was talking about the turtle package. What is a turtle, you say? It is an anthropomorphic turtle. It is a race in Dungeons & Dragons in which it's a turtle that walks upright, but it goes on adventures, goes on tons of fun stories, and we have a turtle package available that details their ecosystem, as well as their village where they go back to spawn, essentially, as well as all the information you need to play a turtle as the player character. It is all Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League legal, and it's only $10, and all of the proceeds that we would get, that Wizards would get from publishing it on Dungeon Masters Guild, goes towards Extra Life. What is Extra Life, you say? Well, that is our initiative, not our initiative, but it's something that we've been doing here at the Wizards, participating in Extra Life's initiative to raise money for Seattle children's hospitals and children's hospitals across the country and the globe, honestly. So we play Dungeons & Dragons, other people play other video games for a long period of time on November 4th. We're playing Dungeons & Dragons on November 3rd. We'll be streaming live from GameholeCon in Madison, Wisconsin. Many of the D&D team will be there. I think Mike Merles is dungeon mastering that one. Then we're going to kick it back to here from this very studio. I'm going to be hosting that whole day on November 4th. That's a Saturday. Bunch of different games going from place to place. Some of our friends Encounter Roleplay will be doing a session, as well as a few sessions in here, one of which is dungeon mastered by Lauren Urban, Obo Crazy in the chat right now. I'll be playing in that game as well, in addition to Trick Jarrett from the Magic team and a bunch of other fun folks. So look forward to that. I have an Extra Life page available right now. It is, you can go to basically extralife.org, yada, 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 /Greg Tito. Go to that page. Please donate. I've been at $240 raised for about like 2 weeks now, which is crazy because I made the joke about $240 worth of pudding from the state. Those of you who might know that amazing skit from the state, I made that joke, and then it's been at 240 since then. So I don't know what I did wrong. Did I offend everyone by talking about how much pudding you can buy for $240? Maybe I did. But in order to make me stop saying, aw, yeah, with Barry and Levon, you should just get that number above 240, and then I'll be done. I won't ever have to say it again. So that's something there. And it's all for the kids. So there's lots of fun things you can do to add to that page in order to support what Extra Life is doing. And, of course, if you donate beyond a certain threshold, we'll be previewing more stuff from Xanathar's Guide to Everything that everyone will be able to get. And I think we've done a few of those thresholds already, including the list of new wizard spells might be coming at the 25K threshold. I think that might have already been passed, and we might have already put that up. So there's more and more stuff to get from there. I think there's something at the 40,000 mark that is something very cool. So go check out Extra Life page on the Wizards of the Coast website to find out more about that. I don't have the specific URL in here, but you can just go to the Wizards of the Coast page, DungeonsandDragons.com, and search for Extra Life, and it should come up pretty easily. Although the search is not the best thing in the world, we're working on it. It'll be better, I swear. Right, so yeah, again, there's Mike Merles' session at GameholeCon, Chris Perkins' sessions at GameholeCon to end the night, Encounter Roleplay is doing it, Lauren Urban is doing it, and Sean Woods. I don't want to forget Sean. He's a concept artist here at Wizards of the Coast. He'll be dungeon mastering a session, and because he's an illustrator, he's already done like a complete poster for his game on Saturday, November 4th. So go check that out. Of course, donate to everybody's page that you can. We really help. We really appreciate all the support. And Magic the Gathering just did their thing last Friday. I was a host for some of that. They played Dungeons & Dragons in the world of Ixalan, their plane that is oddly very similar to the jungles of Chult. But that was a really cool experience, and they're raising tons of money for the same cause. So feel free to donate to any of your fun fans on the Magic the Gathering side of things too, here at Wizards of the Coast. Gosh, we got to get Shelly to do some Avalon Hill things. So that, and Duel Masters. Yeah, I know. You would play a lot of Axis and Allies for 24 hours.
You betcha.
All right, we got to do it. We got to make it happen. So yeah, I mentioned Xanathar's Guide to Everything. That is coming out into game stores on November 10th. There'll be an alternate cover that you can only get in game stores. It's designed by Hydro74. It is super sweet. It has, oh God, I need to make sure I always bring that stuff to this too, just so we have a frame of reference. But it is a really cool design. There's gold etched on it. It's got like a kind of a soft texture on it, like the Volo's Guide did last year. Very cool. Again, you can only get it in game stores. We're only printing a small number of those. So if you want that, you better go to your game store on November 10th and purchase a copy as much as you can or pre-order it. But then the wide release is November 21st with the regular cover, which is also very awesome. It also features the Xanathar looking at his fishbowl, his gold fishbowl. He's obsessed with fish. It's like the only thing that he loves in this world is the goldfish. And so he runs the Thieves Guild or Assassins Guild underneath the city of Waterdeep in Faerun in the Forgotten Realms. And the Xanathar is kind of an alien, crazy person, beholder, 10 eye stalks. Oh, this is basically what it looks like. I wanted to show this to you guys, even though you may not be able to get this. This is a patch that has the Xanathar with a Dungeon Master screen, and of course it is the Dungeon Master screen reincarnated. The art back there that was designed by, that was painted by Tyler Jacobson. It's good stuff. We're going to be giving these away as much as we can over the next few weeks. Definitely Wizards of the Coast employees will get them in their holiday card. So that's something to look forward to, Sean. You'll get this awesome patch. I don't know if you know that. Sweet.
I will?
You will.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I like the colors on this. I love that it's like purple, and then it kind of looks like the red dragon. It's good stuff. Maybe we'll find some ways to get those out to fans as well. So yeah, there is a really cool Loot Crate thing coming on this October's Loot Crate, and it's not the regular Loot Crate, it's the Loot Gaming Crate. I figured that out after the thing. If you use the code DND when you're purchasing this crate, you'll get 15% off the subscription price for this, and I can tell you it is a very interesting and cool item that you can use to play many different games with. The theme for Loot Crate this month is demons, so take that for what you might think it might be. They use Dungeons & Dragons art, many pieces of Dungeons & Dragons art, I will say. And as we get closer to October 27th, maybe I'll spoil that a little bit more. But it's a cool thing, and then again, it's the Loot Gaming Crate, not the regular crate, and if you use the code DND, you'll get 15% off when you order it. So you'll get that awesome D&D item in addition to a whole bunch of other cool stuff that is demon-themed. A little late for the Out of the Abyss players out there, but You know, you never know. There might be somebody still playing Out of the Abyss. In fact, we do know there are people who are still purchasing that adventure. So yeah, might be perfectly used in that. I don't know. We'll see. Could be pretty cool. Speaking of Beholders, the WizKids Beholder Trophy is in stores now. That thing is very cool. Last D&D News, Stan brought up the actual one that we have in the office itself. It's got, instead of it hanging on the wall like the Red Dragon plaque or the Mind Flayer plaque does, this one is designed to hang from the ceiling. So it's got hardware to hang from the ceiling, and it looks amazing. It's basically the cover, the way the Xanathar looks on the cover of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition monster manual. It's very cool, very frightening. Go check it out. Go look at the last week's D&D News if you want an image of what it looks like. I might have actually been killed by it. Actually, and somebody should have made a clip of me getting attacked by the Xanathar. That would have been pretty fun. Maybe I'll share that online. Thank you, Necrophylactor, for subscribing with Twitch Prime. That's the way to do it. Good job. That's the way I subscribe to the D&D Twitch channel. It's using my Twitch Prime subscription, so good on you for making that happen. Folks might not know this. There's a D&D coloring app. Did you know this? I didn't know this. It is in Google Play and Apple app stores, and it's free. You can purchase additional coloring pages if you want, and it's from Kings Road Publishing, the same people who made the D&D coloring book out there. So it uses our art. You can draw on it however you want. It's great for kids at restaurants. Those of you who have kids, I love giving them my phone because my wife and I can actually have like a real conversation for about 2 minutes before they go crazy. But this is a fun thing to do where they can draw on Dungeons & Dragons art while they're doing it. Go check it out. It's in the Google Play App Store as well as the Apple App Store. Tales from Candlekeep is out on Steam right now. Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation. I'm not going to talk too much about this because we talked about it yesterday on Dragon Talk. I talked to Fred Tremblay from BCom all about the design of that game, as well as Bart Carroll and Chris Dupuis just talked about it on Dragon Plus. It's a cool game. Uses the D&D Adventure System rules. It's compatible with all 4 of those games. So now there's 5 Adventure System games out there. All of the pieces are able to be used with each other. You can use heroes from there. You can use tiles from there. You can kind of make your own game a little bit, but it's a way to play Dungeons & Dragons without a dungeon master, as well as the tactical kind of battle way that you can play Dungeons & Dragons with miniatures and exploring a dungeon, that type of thing. A little less on roleplay, but that doesn't mean that you can't do the roleplay along with your friends. But it's about cooperatively getting through challenges in different scenarios. That's the board game. Tales from Candlekeep is the digital version of that board game. Again, it's on Steam right now. I think today might be the last day that you can get it with any kind of discount. You get to play as Artist Simber, Dragonbait, Birdsong, who is a Tabaxi, or Ashara, which is an Aarakocra wizard. And the cool thing about the Aarakocra is that they can fly over the traps that are in there and it won't set them off. So that is a cool little fun thing that I didn't know when I was playing this a couple of weeks ago and I was getting my butt kicked. It is very challenging, which I like because it's a tactical challenge. So you want it to be, not a walk through the park or anything like that. You definitely have to think ahead. You can't grab every bit of treasure that you see. You have to really think about it tactically to beat the scenario. So go for it. There's tons of replayability. I believe said there's like 20 to 30 different scenarios you can play through. There's the main storyline with tons of side quests that you can do. It's a fun time to kind of be a single player playing through the tactical side of a Dungeons & Dragons game. Good stuff. All right. I'm going to skip to some other fun things. So, WizKids, Icons of the Realms, Tomb of Annihilation minis have been out for a while now. There's lots of fun stuff in there, but I don't know if you guys know as much about Nolzor's marvelous miniatures. There's a special line that WizKids created to have unpainted minis that you can paint yourself. They have deeper cuts in them, so they accept paint a little bit better, and they have more definition inside them, so that the details of the sculpts don't get lost when you're covering them up with paint, which is very cool. But one thing that I think might be really interesting, this is the thing that I've been trying to think about, is that these level up, the miniatures basically level up with you. So this is the human druid, and there's one version where her equipment is not very good, you might say. Not as doesn't seem as blinged out, and she's a little bit like of a lower level. And then there's another version where it's a higher level, where the clothing that she's wearing, the items that she's doing, and the casting of the spells that she might be doing is better, you know, like much higher level. So you kind of like, this is a miniature that can grow up with your character as you're playing it through a campaign, which I thought was really cool. Like, this is the, you know, hey, I might buy this. This is my character that I'm going to be playing, you know, for the 6 to 8 to 10 to 3 years of a campaign that you're playing, right? And then another partner of ours, Gale Force 9, makes these Spellbook cards. They've been out of print for a while. They are now back in print. This is the newly revised version with all of the errata in there and any of the problems with misprinting that might have happened. These should be all good to go. You get, you know, so say you're playing a druid, you can get this druid from WizKids. You get the Spellbook cards from Gale Force 9. Then this is a product that I don't think a lot of people know about. These are character folios from our friends at Ultra Pro. So it's basically like a folder that has, you know, there's a big character sheet kind of level size. So if you print out your character sheet, you can put it in here, and then it also has space for you to put things like spell cards. So like, say you know all the druid spells, but like these are the ones that I use the most. You can put them in here and organize them in a way. And there's, you know, some paper. Then you can organize them in a way so you're like, oh, I can always go to those spell cards at any given moment. And then of course, if you get any maps or handouts and stuff, you can put them in here. And of course, so I feel like this is something that people can buy together as a gift. Maybe, you know, as a dungeon master buying this for your players, or vice versa. You can get these as a combo, right? So get the one you can probably kind of pick art that might fit. You know, so for example, I don't think there's anything like really specifically druidy, except maybe this one has got like some elves on here that you might think were druidy. But like, hey, this is my art that I really associate with my character. This is the spell cards that we use, and this is the miniatures that you get in like one package. I think it's pretty cool. You know, it's not just druids, obviously. There's tons of different combinations. This is a dwarf cleric, Nolzur's miniature that's unpainted. You get the cleric cards, and then, hey, here's a cleric kind of paladin-y based thing. Here's a, you know, a half-orc or a dwarf on the back, right? So this is like, hey, this is me and my envisioning of my character using Dungeons & Dragons art, and then you put all the stuff that you need for your character in there. I don't know, just a cool way to think about how you might get stuff at the game store, especially if you're starting up a new campaign, or even if you're just going, you know, hey, I need all my stuff. I know a lot of people buy dice that suits their character, or spells that they might use. I knew one friend who didn't really play wizards a lot, usually played rogues, but he was playing this wizard that basically loved fireballs and made fireballs happen like all the time. So he made sure to get these orange and red D6s. He had like 20 of them, a set of 20 of them, you know, and eventually he got up to that point where he was rolling fireballs, where he was rolling all 20 of them, but it was just this really cool kind of thing. And I feel like this is in that same line where you're like, hey, this is something, accessories that identify with my character and stuff like that. Hello. Oh, Mr. Perkins is going to do some secret stuff later on, so we're excited about that. What time is it? Is it already 4?
You got 5 minutes. I
got 5 minutes, and I don't have any time limits anymore because there's no dice camera action. What else is going on? Foursquare Lost City of Omu just had its 12th episode yesterday. It was a 50-minute episode, 5-0, good stuff. Yeah, Trapper Keepers with D&D branding. That's basically what these are, even though they're not. But I think that's a cool idea. Does anyone buy Trapper Keepers anymore? Elwarius? I'm not sure if they do. Yeah, secret stuff. We got secret stuff. Ask Jeremy. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Lost City of Omu. For you guys who have not been watching it, it is with Matt Mercer from Critical Role. He just did a great job finishing up that whole storyline. It stars Joe Manganiello from True Blood, Deborah Ann Wall, also from True Blood, and in Daredevil, Dylan Sprouse, a friend of mine, making up his meadery in Brooklyn. I can't wait to check out his mead pretty soon. And Utkarsh and Budkar, as well as Brian Posehn. They're going through many, many more episodes. We're going to be starting with 2 episodes each Monday night at 5 p.m. Pacific time here on this Twitch channel. Go check it out. Some of the most talented and creative storytelling folks in the business have been really itching to play Dungeons & Dragons, and we let them because they love it. So we make it happen. It's good stuff. You should check it out. And, you know, we hasn't really officially been announced yet, but I got something to tell you. There is a live show coming to New York City for the finale of this season of Force Grey. We're calling it Force Grey Survive the Tomb. I wonder if you might guess where they're going to end up at the end of the 18 episodes. They might be going into the Tomb of Annihilation, just throwing it out there. But it's going to be November 18th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time in New York City, in Brooklyn, in my old stomping grounds where I used to live in Williamsburg, just a few blocks away from my old apartment, actually. It's kind of crazy to think about. It's at a place called Villain. We'll be announcing this all for real, I think this week, perhaps on Thursday, but I want to give you guys, the dedicated Twitch audience, the news ahead of time. So November 18th, if you're in the New York area, you can buy tickets to come and go see it. It's going to be pretty badass, but you can also watch it live here on twitch.tv/DND. And again, it's Saturday, November 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, so it'll be 12 noon here Pacific Time. So mark your calendars for that. You're getting a little sneak peek before I really announce it out wide, but it's going to be pretty exciting. And then knowing Matt, it's probably going to be like a 3 to 4 hour long adventure, really just wrapping up the entire episode as the season finale, which I think is pretty cool. We did that last year for Forrest Gray. The Lost episode, we did that at the Egyptian Theater in LA. It was a fun time. Those of you in the LA area who came to go see it, thank you. That was really badass. We wanted to show it to the folks on the East Coast, or at least the larger eastern city there in New York City. So hopefully folks will be able to truck it to Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Not going to be tons of seats, but there will be seats there, and you'll be able to get a seat for sure. So put that on your calendar. Make sure you go. I said thank you to folks who are doing the trip subscriptions. Thank you so much for subscribing on Twitch. You guys are awesome for that. Again, it's only $4.99. You get all the custom emotes, as well as not being able to having to watch ads when you're watching this channel, and of course the badge, just saying how long you've been a member of the channel. So thank you so much for that. It's been great. We love to get more of you guys, and we're looking at ways to increase the value of all those subscriptions as they go forward. So that should be pretty cool. There's going to be more tiers added to the $4.99, we think, because there's a lot of people out there who want it. Also, I feel like there's more stuff I wanted to talk about. Yeah, the Gale Force 9 Tomb of Annihilation Dungeon Master screen is out now. We have a few at the desk. I actually had some of them on the table for when we did Dragon Talk yesterday. And the Collector's Series, Tomb of Annihilation Collector's Series, Batiri Goblins, a stack of Batiri Goblins is going to be in there as well, which should be pretty cool. So that is something you should look into if you're into painting minis, like I know many of you are. Thank you so much, Era Soji, for subscribing on Twitch Prime. Thank you for that. That was awesome. You're a good person. As well as Robin Laura. Hi, Robin Laura. 2 months in a row. That's pretty amazing. I hope I'm saying that right. It's not like Roband Laura. Jessica Lee, Mike, no, unfortunately, there's no dice camera action today. A lot of the folks are getting ready for TwitchCon, which is this weekend. So no new episode tonight. We will be playing the previous week's episode as soon as I'm done here. But you will be able to watch a new episode at TwitchCon at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Live from Long Beach, California at TwitchCon. 3 of the 4 Waffle Crew members will be there, as well as a few special guests. So that should be pretty exciting. So tune in then. Of course, you'll be able to watch it on demand as usual, and then we'll be back up with the regular schedule to next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. No, sadly, I won't be at TwitchCon. I wish I was. But travel was hard to do with a family, and I did like my share of travel in September, but all of the D&D team is going to all these fun places, so I'm feeling a little bit jealous. I actually won't be able to be in New York, honestly, which stinks. I won't be able to go to PAX Unplugged or any the fun things. So I'll be holding down the fort here in sunny Renton, Washington, while everything happens at home. I'm sorry, I will hold you, Green Man 101 with 3s and 4s in your name. I will hold you for there being no DCI. I'm sorry. Maybe Chris will hold you too. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's not actually quite sunny. That was a lie. So we have a couple more minutes, and again, because we don't have a time limit of the show coming out right after, I'm going to talk to you guys for a little bit longer and tell you all the fun stuff that's going on in the streaming schedule, if that's okay with you. So today we have some really fun new shows coming out this week, including right after we do the DCA rerun at 6 p.m. Maze Arcana, Sirens of the Realms. It's a new show DM'd by Satine Phoenix with a Vivid Vika Amy Vorpahl, Maud Garrett, and Kate Elliott. They're all playing bards in a band going through the jungles of Chult. I'm not really sure exactly why they're in Chult. They might have ended up there because their tour manager brought them in the wrong place. But they're all in a band, and I can't wait for that because a lot of the folks in this cast are musically inclined, so maybe there will be some actual play of instruments and stuff, which would be really exciting. Again, that's 6 p.m. tonight, the premiere. Check that out if you can. Tomorrow, High Rollers Dead Reckoning. It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time to 12 noon. And that is DM Mark Holmes and his crew from High Rollers in the Yogs cast. Katie Morrison, Chris Trott, Cam Richards, and Tom Hazel. They're playing kind of evil-ish characters in the prequel to Uncharted Territory, which was the season they did over the summer. So that's called Dead Reckoning, and again, it's 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. Then One Grung Above. Chris Lindsay did his Grung game during the Stream of Annihilation. He has been DMing for the last few weeks with Satine Phoenix and Rudy Runberg from Maze Arcana, Lauren Urban, Obo Crazy, who's in the chat right now. What's up, Lauren? And Sig Neutron. They're all playing as anthropomorphic frogs. Seems to be a trend of reptiles who you can play as in D&D for this adventure. They're all grung, and if you don't know anything about grung, they're like a kind of a tree frog people. They have a caste system based on the different colors that they are as tree frogs, and they all have different abilities based on that. Like the red grung are magic users, gold drung are the leaders. I said drung, but they're actually grung with a G. Greg, grung. See, should be easy for me. Yeah. Grung. So that's at 2 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, One Grung Above. Chris is very excited about maybe trying to kill his characters in that. He's been trying to talk about it all day. 6 p.m. Pacific time, we have the premiere of Maze Arcana Fury's Fate, which is our friends from Maze Arcana. Rudy Rutenberg is dungeon mastering this one with Brooke Lawson, Sig Neutron, Kyle Vogt, and one other mystery cast member. That is a new storyline starting. Well, no, I guess they've done some Fury's Fate already. So yeah, but that is starting up again. They took a few weeks off as they wrapped up their last kind of episodes. And they're picking back up at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday. At Thursdays at 1 p.m., Codename Entertainment will be doing an Idle Champions stream. What's Idle Champions, you say? It is a video game that's on Steam. It's on early access right now. It's called Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And it's called an idle game because you send your party out on adventures. They kill monsters. They collect loot. They get XP. All in real time, so you can kind of set it up and let them go do their thing and then come back an hour or two later, and all of the loot and treasure that they've collected over that time, you can all just grab it and then level up your guys, optimize your party, maybe recruit some other party members, and send them off on adventures again. It's kind of this fun feedback loop that a lot of people love to do while you're doing something else. You know, you only have to do like 2 or 3 minutes of gameplay at a time. The cool thing about that is that all the characters from Force Grey, Lost City of Omu are available as characters in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. So you can play as Arkin the Cruel, you can play as Hitch, you can have Jamila, as well as Tyrol Tall Guy and Hitch, all in there to recruit and do your bidding, as well as some fun other characters like Ashara, the Aarakocra, as well as Jarlaxle is in there with his big plumed hat and the feather plume. He's also available there too. Again, that's so if you want to find out more about that, watch Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. They're doing a stream of that. At 3 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, Destiny and Doom with Jack and Mika from Rooster Teeth and Friends. That is also dungeon mastered by Lauren Urban. And what's up, Lauren? I don't know if you're still in the chat anymore. She is dungeon mastering a group of folks calling in from all over the country. Mika Burton, Dante Bosco, Kryken, and Jack Patillo, all from kind of the Rooster Teeth family of programming, achievement hunters, as well as, what's the name of the one in LA that Elise Williams is in? I'm blanking on the name of it. They have a whole bunch of stuff in the Rooster Teeth family, and we've been trying to get more and more of them involved for a long time. I'm so excited that this came together. Lauren has been doing stuff at RTX, at the Rooster Teeth Experience for years, playing Dungeons & Dragons. In fact, that's how her podcast, Dungeons & Drunks, kind of got started. So we're excited to be able to show her off here, Dungeon Mastering from this very studio right here, and talking to those folks. It's been really fun. So again, check in on that. That is 3 p.m. Pacific time on Thursdays. we host Acquisitions Incorporated, the C Team, as well as Critical Role. They're taking a break. Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, Roll20 presents Tomb of Annihilation. That is DM Adam Coble, along with his cast of Distracted Elf, Andrew Gillis, Dave the Human, and Blue Jay. Great stuff happening there. On Saturday at 3 p.m., Encounter Roleplay is doing Learn by Play. I talked to Will Jones and Sydney Shields on Dragon Talk yesterday, so go back and look at that interview if you're interested to learn more. It'll be out on the podcast very soon. And that's where, if you're interested in figuring out how to Dungeon Master, Will Jones stops the action every little bit and tells you what he was doing, what he was thinking, why he made the choices that he made. So it's a good way to get into there. As well, on Saturdays at 6 p.m., Heroes Graveyard with Trump and Koibu and Friends. Trump SE is a longtime video game player on Twitch. He plays Hearthstone a lot, along as well as other games. He loves Dungeons & Dragons. He's played in a bunch of other streams, and he wanted to jump into this one and figure out how to do something with a little bit different stakes. So if you die in Heroes Graveyard, if your character perishes, you leave the game. You're no longer in the game. So that's kind of dovetails really well with what's going on in the Tomb of Annihilation storyline with the Death Curse, and it's super fun. So go check that out, 6 p.m. on Saturday. We like to host Maze Arcana. Of course, this week on Sunday at 11 a.m., we'll have Dice Camera Action live from TwitchCon. And then, of course, Girls Guts Glory at 3 p.m. on Sunday. They have a new Dungeon Master, Kelly D'Angelo, as well as Kellen Coleman being added to the mix. And Kim Hidalgo is a player now, which is really exciting. And they've been doing 2 to 3 hours broadcasting on Twitch from a studio in LA, and we're really excited about where that story is going as well. All right. One final thing I want to tell you is that there is now going to be 2 Dragon Talk episodes on the podcast per week. We've been recording tons of interviews on Dragon Talk, so we're releasing 2 episodes per week pretty much for the rest of 2017. We might do that in 2018 too, depending on how it goes. And if you're interested, there is now a podcast version of Dice Camera Action. So you're more than welcome to watch last week's episode, but if you want to start up with what's happening in this season, you can download the audio right now on Dungeon Delve. That is an RSS feed that is run by Wedge of the Coast. It's got tons of live play information, live play audio of Dungeons & Dragons play. That's where Chris and the Acquisitions Incorporated team started. What's that?
I'm cutting you off.
You're cutting me off!
Otherwise, they're not going to be able to watch the whole DCA rerun before the 6 o'clock show kicks in.
Oh, that's true. That is true. What time is it now? 4:10. 4:10. Oh dear. All right. So I'm being cut off. So yeah, go to Dungeon Delve and the RSS feed and find out how to grab it. We'll be doing basically all of the season of this 3rd season of stuff over the next few weeks. And so if you want to get your Dice Camera Action fix in audio form, you can do that now. Make it happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need to get out of here so that we can get the rerun going before the 6 p.m. start for Maze Arcana. So thank you guys for bearing with me. You guys are awesome. You can follow me. I'm at Greg Tito on Twitter. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're interested in finding out more about Dungeons & Dragons, go to dungeonsanddragons.com or dragonmag.com for Dragon Plus. All right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week, and enjoy the rerun of last week's episode of Dice Camera Action now.